how to get better at changing chords on the guitar. This is lesson 2. If you missed lesson number 1, just go right here. Click there and take lesson number 1, then come back here. Tip number 3 is finding some common notes to make the chord change. And what do I mean by a common note? Well, if you take a G chord, a 4-fingered G chord, and maybe you know this chord, but let me put it up on the screen here. This is a great beginner chord, even though it's using 4 fingers, because if you learn this chord, what it's going to allow you to do, especially if you're strumming, is to be able to change chords quickly between G, and we're just going to move these 2 fingers to the C right here. Okay, and these 2 fingers right here are our common notes, and we don't have to move them, so we're only moving 2 fingers to make that chord change. It sounds like this. In any song that has a G and a C, or most any song, you're also going to find a D chord usually as well. And there's a common note with the D chord. So the D chord common note is your ring finger 3 frets up, okay? So from D to G, this note never changes. We just have to place that pinky back there. And then from D to C, this note stays there. So that's the common note between D and C and D and G. And of course with G and C we have 2 common notes. D and G, there's 1 common note right here. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Same thing, practice it slow and then move the metronome up. Tip number 2 is called the changing field. And what the changing field is it's allowing you more, it's almost like cheating, it's allowing you more time to go ahead to form the chord on your left hand, okay? And the way we're doing this is by hitting open strings as one of the strums and then changing the chord. It's allowing you time to form the chord, all right? So let me give you an example of this. Sounds okay, right? You would never really notice, and you'd be surprised at all the guitar players. That's the way that they change chords, is they have a little bit of an open chord in between those chord changes. That's called the changing field. So you could use that with any chord combination, E to A minor, or E to A major. Even if you're going back and forth. It's just a little time to make that chord change. All right, there's one more tip to go, and it's tip number 1. It's the most important one. And after you're done watching, if you could let me know in the comments area below, which of these 5 tips do you think are going to help you the most? Which of these 5 tips are going to help you the most? Let me know in the comments area below. All right, here's tip number 1. Here's my wireless keyboard here for my computer. And if I asked you to not look at the keyboard, but write out all the rows, what all the letters are on a row, like the top row, write the letters out, and then the middle row and the bottom row. How many of you could do it? I can't. I have no idea. I don't know where a B is. But you know what? I could type pretty fast, and the reason I can is because my hands have remembered where those letters are, not my brain. All right? So at first I had to go and look at it. Maybe you've taken lessons. I mean, of course, taking lessons, going to school for it is the best. But most all of us have learned how to type just by doing it, okay? So we need that same muscle memory that we have for the keyboard. We need to do that with our guitar playing, okay? And this goes for anything. It goes for not only changing chords, but anything guitar related. So what we want to do is decrease the time it takes to learn something. We want to decrease our learning time. And there's a very specific way to do it, and I call it taking breaks. All right? As strange as that may sound. But what you want to do is the first rule is you want to play the guitar for at least 15 minutes a day. Okay? At least 15 minutes a day or longer. But don't exceed 30 minutes at one time. All right? So you can go for 30 minutes, and then what I want you to do is take a break. Take a break, 20 minutes, half an hour, 4 hours, however long, all right? Then come back to the guitar, but don't exceed 30 minutes. And the reason for this is because what you want to do is you want to develop and transfer what you know in your brain and you're trying to do into your hands, all right? So taking a lot of little breaks, practice for 15 minutes, 10 minutes even. Take a break, go back and do it again, but take the breaks. Now, a phenomenon is going to happen that you're going to notice that every time you go to pick up the guitar again at the start of a new practice session, you're going to notice that, wow, I don't remember what I was doing before. And it may take you 10 minutes to get what you just had like an hour ago to remember how to do it, all right? And this is very common, all right? But here's the secret to the whole thing. Work through it until you have it again, and as soon as you have it and you do it a bunch of times the right way, take another break. When you go to do a new practice session and just pick up the guitar and you could just play it cold, first time, that's how you know you got it. All right, so I hope these lessons are helpful. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell. This way you'll be the first to know when I get a bright idea about how I can help you learn and play guitar. All right, peace and happy picking.